How's it going, guys? It's Owen here. Today we have a game called Trick and Treat. This is a survival horror game where your decisions actually depend on whether you escape the cursed forest alive. That being said, let's jump straight into it. The sounds of our steps, combined with that the occasional nocturnal animal, is the only thing we could hear. It's terribly dark in this place. The dense vegetation makes it impossible to see the sky or the light from the moon. Our flashlight is the only thing to light our way. At times like this, one begs not to run out of battery. We walk without knowing what we are really looking for, or better yet, for no reason. We are just a group of boys bored about our lives, trying to create a lasting memory of this night, instead of just staying at home doing nothing. Today is October 31st, All Hallows Eve, better known as Halloween. Three young men walk through a dark, but up until now, nothing special forest, me being one of them. We are doing it to prove our courage. It's too bad that there isn't any girls here to see how brave we are. Seeing it like that, one could say this is a meaningless effort. For a moment, I stopped to look at my watch. It's 1:49 AM. That means we've been walking aimlessly for more than 2 hours now. I am sure that many people will find a place like this terrifying. But once you get used to it, the fear disappears, making it feel like normal. What makes us afraid of the dark is that we cannot know what hides in it, what lurks in the shadows. But this is clearly an empty darkness. At that moment, I sigh feeling how tired my legs are. What is the point of being here? Clearly we had already demonstrated what we wanted. It would be best for us to return. I should tell them. I was about to speak when suddenly the atmosphere in the forest became strange. Suddenly, a cold chill runs through my body. It was like any other chill, except it was not going away. For some reason, the air's atmosphere temperature dropped from 1 second to the other. So much so, my breath becomes visible, turning into mist. It doesn't end there. The air is now filled with rotten smell, just a little short from being unbearable. Images of worms and flies soon appear in my mind, giving me a really unpleasant feeling. Sorry about that, guys, I had a hiccup. We all stop at that moment. What's happening? I ask confused, while turning to look at my friends. By the expression in their faces, it was easy to know that they were just as lost as I was. It was then that we heard footprints nearby that did not come from any of us. We all got dead quiet after that. I don't know if it was out of fear or to check if we was not mistaken, but we stayed motionless, like statues, without making a noise. Just looking at each other's faces, wondering the same thing. What was happening? As if I should know, as if I could know. We heard the steps again. They clearly belonged to a human, or at least a large animal, but there was something strange about them. It sounds as if the person walked dragging 1 foot. Just thinking about it made me shiver. Damn, why is this happening? It makes no sense. We should have returned home before, but now it's too late to regret it. I have the feeling that we are being stalked by someone. The strange footsteps stopped, but I'm still feeling this presence nearby. I don't know where it is, but it's looking at me. The cursed thing is looking at me. My heart is beating anxiously. It's almost as if my body was telling me to get out of there. But strangely, my friends seemed unable to perceive it. It seems like it's gone. It must have been just an animal, said one of them, convinced that they were safe. I would like to believe that too. With a sigh of relief, however, bad luck would soon strike us again. Unexpectedly, the forest becomes darker than before, in just a blink of an eye. But that wasn't the fault of the forest, but our flashlights which went out. One of the three, only mine, was still working. What's going on? Did the batteries die? Asked one of the friends, scared, while they beat them desperately as if that was going to revive it. I can't blame them. The idea of walking into darkness was not pleasant for anyone. But after a few moments, we had no choice but to resign ourselves to that. Once more, the sound of our footsteps is heard. But the silence is different now. We are not quiet because we have nothing to say, but because we are afraid. We continue walking despite the fear that invades us. Visibly is almost zero, but we have no choice. In theory, we are walking back looking for the exit, but I cannot remember anything of this forest. We could be walking in circles, and I would never notice it until it was too late. I hate the thought of it. I just want to be out of here. Suddenly, my thoughts are silenced. We hear the footsteps of someone, or something. Once more, the three of us become statues, awaiting the presence to go. I hold my breath while feeling my heart beating anxiously. Damn, get away from here and leave us alone. Unexpectedly, the footsteps are heard closer. This time, they don't disappear, but rather come at us. I can't stand it. Desperately, I move my flashlight everywhere, looking for the author of those footsteps, hoping for the light to reveal their identity and erase our fears. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Is all there is around here. It's just empty air. My anxiety grows with each failed attempt. I refuse to believe that it was just a ghost. Suddenly, when I move the flashlight again, I see a silhouette. I could not distinguish what it was, but for a moment the light revealed something. Quickly, I point to the same place to only discover it was gone. I hold my breath anxiously. It was not an illusion. I am sure there was something. It was then that I hear something nearby. Without even thinking, I aim the light towards that place. What I found leaves us paralyzed with an expression of disbelief on our faces. It was a white cat with eyes of intense red, which stands before us. Here. Oh, her look is not the friendliest, to say something. Somehow, I get the feeling it's a female cat. Suddenly, she lets out a thunderous meow that leaves us terrified. It sounded more like a lion roaring than a simple cat. The echo of her meow is heard throughout the forest, making it sound more sinister than it should be. It was then that suddenly an inexplicable force hits us free. Read that bit wrong. I fell to the ground, and little by little my eyelids close. The fatigue becomes unbearable. I lose consciousness on the ground of the forest without knowing what was really happening. Before night falls. So yeah, as you can see, this game's actually turned out to be quite weird so far. We had to just jump straight into it apparently. It's a day full like any other, so normal that it was almost painful. So it is a dream then. The only special thing that could be said about it is that it's October 31st. Far where the memories went, I was a kid and went out with my friends to ask for sweets from house to house. Just remembering it made me sigh. I feel nostalgic. Some things were better than when I was a child, or at least it seems like that. There were some who had good costumes, whether superheroes or monsters. My friends and I, on the other hand, had to use our imagination. Creativity was our costume, you could say, no matter how funny it could sound. I remember that my mother once painted red my face and told me, "You would be the devil." But it seems only she saw it that way. When we went from home to home, everyone said I was the tomato man. Or tomato man, how you would pronounce it. But those things didn't matter to me, since we always had a good time. If I asked for candy now, even if I had the best costume, I'm sure no one would give me anything. Except perhaps a scolding for acting like a child when I am 17 years old. But anyway, I can't stay in the past. I must live in the present, no matter how little exciting that might be. Back to reality, we are a group of friends who don't have any plans for today. We are still not old enough to go to the disco. And I doubt guys as us would have any luck in that environment. The other option would be to go to a party, meet girls, and have fun. Everything perfect except that nobody has invited us. Not being popular has its disadvantages. Hey Axel, let's get a couple of matches, what do you say? My friend Steven called my attention while playing with his game online, with his game console. Rushhead, I believe that's what the game is called, a fast and quiet, complicated fighting game for me. I would normally agree to play with him, but for some reason, I don't feel in the mood today. I have no desire to play now. I replied with discouragement. Why could I not say that word? I almost feel bad for doing it. Boring. The AI is no rival for me. Steven said with confidence. That you're playing on normal difficulty does not help your argument. I don't feel like losing, but if you want to, you can challenge to Alfred. What? I don't feel like losing, but if you want, you can challenge to. I'm not reading that wrong, am I? No, I'm not. I don't think this person was English. Either that or just a simple typo. I said, leading to the attention to my other friends. I don't know how to play that, answered Alfred, doubting for a second. He's sitting behind the PC, but it seems like he isn't doing anything interesting. The screen only shows a lot of text. I think he's in Wikipedia. Hey, don't you have something more fun to do? I asked with a discouragement, without even thinking about what he was reading. Alfred looks at me as surprised. The actual problem of society is that people are not interested in discovering their history. He's one of those, no idea what that says, always looking for rare information that appears smarter than the others. When we forget of our past mistakes, we are doomed to repeat them. He added later. What are you talking about? This village is small, and its story is not interesting at all. Nothing outside of the normal has ever happened in it. Alfred laughs mockingly after hearing that. Your ignorance is worthy of praise. He pauses, filling his chest with pride. The very fact that it is a small town is the reason it is full of mysteries. Did you know that 20 years ago on this date, a man disappeared? So, what about it? I asked without being impressed or even interested in the least. Things like that happen all the time in these places. As I thought, you don't know the history despite living in this very place. Alfred said while adjusting his glasses in arrogant gesture. There's legend behind the disappearances. That is what I was reading. After listening to him, I looked back at the computer screen with curiosity. Sigh. It's then that I noticed that it was not Wikipedia, but some other page. Come on, read this and learn a little. Alfred said, inviting us to read what was on the screen. Both Stephen and I moved closer to read it. Oh my god. Town of Inbegon, off Oxfordshire and country, 1994. I came to this town with only 400 inhabitants to support them in the investigation. Truth is that never in my life have I ever seen something this strange. I won't say a typical detective nonsense that I have seen thousands of strange things in my life. I've seen many, yes. Some difficult to solve, but all of them were human. Even if you don't know how to manage perpetrate the crime, you know that they are people like everyone else. In this case, I don't think I'm able to say the same thing. Truth is that I can't understand what happened. I was called for the disappearance of a man named Matthew Graham. 23 years. Single. The last time he was seen, he was returning home from a Halloween party. He had drank alcohol but was still sober. Or at the very least, that's what witnesses say. Anyway, this is not something which can be explained with a simple drunkenness. He apparently got lost on the way home and decided to enter the forest called Oakwood. It had rained yesterday, so the ground was wet and muddy. We could easily find his traces, which were leading deep inside the forest. Apparently, he walked for 3 hours before stopping. I say stop, but the truth is we don't know what actually happened then. The tracks suddenly ended up clearing in the forest. And that's all. There was no evidence of a struggle. No other trace. Or pieces of clothing on the ground rather. There was no blood. No more footprints. Or anything else. The depth of his last footprints and the position they were indicated that he was still walking. At no point he stood still. Was it as if he had vaporized in the air, which was with all his clothes, in the middle of his walk? Obviously, I can't believe such a thing, but I can't give any other explanation. The only thing I remember is that near the footprints I sensed a faint smell of rot. However, there were no animal corpses nearby. It is ridiculous to think he suddenly started to decay and became earth. In the end, the case was closed in just 3 days. With no evidence of any kind, we couldn't say anything that he decided to escape from the village. However, while officially there was no more to do, I could sleep. What? However, while officially there was no more to do, I couldn't sleep in peace. Thinking about what could have happened to him took away my sleep. In my mind, I thought all sorts of theories. Like maybe everything was a plan developed by Matthew. But in the end, they all seem impossible. I decided to investigate more on the issue. I searched the town for similar stories, and my surprise I found 4 more. All young men. The story was always the same. They had walked into the forest alone, disappearing without a trace. Even more cautious is that all of them disappeared on the same date, October 31st. But there was more. A detail that completely eliminates the possibility there was a killer or kidnapper behind this. And that is the separation of the years. Roger Bacon disappeared in 1924. Mitchell Smith disappeared in 1867. Jason Black disappeared in 1813. And the worst of all, Oswald Taylor disappeared in 1707. It simply couldn't be possible. My curiosity led me to dig deeper. I thought that the answer may be in the past of the forest. It was then I discovered that what seemed to be a simple and boring forest actually hid a great story. Before it was called Oakwoods or Oaks Forest, the place was called Witchwood. The word witch has a hung similarity with witch. Taking it into consideration that it's an old name and language changes over time, that indicates that it was the forest of witches. Got there in the end. Apparently, more than 400 years ago, the people of the village believed that witches lived in the woods. Unfortunately, almost all the information is already lost. There were stories told in voice, without a proper written record. I just know with the change of religion to Christian, people stopped seeing the witches with good eyes and began to hunt them. Apparently, the last one before her death cast a curse on the forest, which even today should continue to exist. Anyway, obviously I cannot accept something like that as an answer. In the end, I have no choice than accepting that each of them escaped from the village. Why do they keep saying escaped? You're making this village sound like it's a bloody prison. Using the legend of the forest to make it look like it was something supernatural. Oh, that was a lot of reading. Interesting story. I didn't know that such a story was hiding in this town. I said, honestly surprised. Even if it is a lie, it manages to hold my interest. Wait, there is something more. Alfie said at the same time he scrolls to the comments. We read what was written there. A couple of comments caught our attention. Both of them talk about some creature. At that time, they felt a horrible fear that could happen to them. Well, the 2 comments share great similarities, but they could not have been written by the same person. There are too many others that deny it. Looks like many people went to the forest because of the legend that they couldn't find anything. I thought you only read these things to look more cool before the girls, replied Stephen as a joke. Alfred giggles with a little shame. Partly, yes. He admitted it, that there was a secret everybody slightly knew. Well. Now we have an activity for tonight. Stephen said at the same time he makes a face, overflowing with enthusiasm. What? I asked, completely lost. I thought we were just killing time. Simple. Let's go to that forest. Stephen replied without hesitation. He seemed really fascinated by the story. Are you insane? Said Alfred, unable to believe that what he just heard. You would need to look at the face to know that he did not like that idea. Despite everything you heard, you want to go? Of course, it would be a test of courage among us three, replied Stephen, full of confidence, perhaps too much. He should relax a little. Don't tell me you're afraid. No. Why would I be afraid? Answered Alfred at the same time he folded his arms, making a false gesture of security. It's more obvious than you... What? It's more obvious than you are afraid. It's more obvious that you are afraid, Alfred. I think I read that completely right, but I just kept hesitating. Almost as much as when you have to talk with a girl. And what about you, Axel? Don't tell me Don't tell me you won't come. Suddenly Stephen asked me at the same time, looking at me mockingly. Don't tell me you want to be chicken of the group. I hate the tone of voices he used. I would never give you that, he said without thinking, showing a confident smile and look. Well, let's not say any more. Take your coats, backpacks, flashlights, and get some food. We are going to the forest. Stephen said, full of energy. Yeah! We three said in unison that we were going to have some kind of private party, not really knowing what we were doing or what we were going to find. 2:13 a.m. I had to click. Sorry about that, guys. Thought I was going to pass on its own there. I woke completely confused, not knowing how much time had passed. My head hurts like hell, but I can't blame it. Fortunately, the pain goes away quickly, just as my confusion. Soon, I come back to my senses. My flashlight is lying on the ground, shining towards the empty air. I immediately pick it up. It was only protection against the darkness that surrounds me. Then I remember that Stephen and Alfred were with me. Stephen? Alfred? Can you hear me? Without thinking, I screamed their names in the dark, while trying to find them with my flashlight, but there are no traces of them. They are gone. Where the hell are they? What the heck just happened? I really don't understand anything. Shit, we should stay at home. This is not proof of courage. We could be in danger. I have to find them. Shit's starting to go on now. 2:19 a.m. Little time has passed since I started to look for my friends, and I already can't stand this place. I'm going crazy in this forest. The darkness that covers it is unnatural. It is darkness that steals your own sanity, replacing it with anxiety. To make it worse, the air is damp and cold, as in winter, carrying a strong and rot smell. As if there was a corpse of animals hidden throughout the forest. The atmosphere in this place is oppressive, where every step you take makes it more uncomfortable. Since I started to look for my friends, I felt that something was watching me, but there was nothing. I sighed with my voice full of frustration. I just want to get out of here. I continued walking, devoid of any hope. No matter where I looked, or how much I walked, I find nothing. I cannot even hear the sounds of animals. Rather, it seems like they're already dead and rotting. No, I have to calm myself, I said to myself. I stopped for a moment to rest. I breathed deeply, but the rotten air of this place does me no good. Immediately, I started to cough as if I had something stuck in my throat. Shit, what am I going to do? This cursed forest seems endless. And even if any miracle I could escape, I cannot abandon Stephen and Alfred. I've really screwed up. Again, I started feeling on the verge of tears. My frustration is building up, but I have to do my best to keep calm. If I fall into despair, then there is no doubt I will be joining the list of missing people. In the end, I decided to keep walking. Step by step, I should get somewhere. At least I was convinced that staying in the same place would not do me any good. Even if it was only to deceive myself, feeling I am doing something, I wanted to continue walking. Time passes without changes. Only the sound of footsteps can be heard. Knowing that as soon as you stop, you will be surrounded by a dead silence is a good incentive to keep walking. But my legs were already hurting. Suddenly, I hear a crack at my feet. Instantly, I take a step back and look below to see what made that sound. What is this? I whispered to myself, surprised at discovering that I had stepped on animal bone. Oh crap. I believe that is a form of animal, although I do not rule out the possibility that it belongs to a person. But for my own good, I prefer not to think about that. An expression of anguish is drawn on my face. It is best to ignore it. I have to keep walking. Suddenly, my flashlight reveals something. Without hesitation, I point towards it there. I point towards there again. Oh no! Poor little kitty. Only to realise the surprise that it's the white cat. The one from before, which made an awful meow. That this time, I find it lying on the ground. It appears to be fainting and is wounded. Oh, at least it's not dead. Then what should I do? Ignore it? Pick it up. It's probably going to scratch the hell out of me, but at least we're going to help it. It's best to continue without waking her. What? That cat is dangerous. It's her fault that I ended up in this place and my friends are missing. I thought it just said pick you up. Did I read that incorrectly? But even knowing that for some strange reason, I can't help but feel sorry for her. Even if it's unnatural, it is still an animal. I then bend over to see her closer. She's unconscious and has a thin line of blood coming from her mouth. Ah, I'm a real idiot, I said to myself at the same time. I cleaned the blood from her mouth with a handkerchief that I had with me. Fortunately, she doesn't wake up. I then close her mouth, making her appearance a little more better. Now she is peacefully sleeping, so she is dead. Ah, poor little kitty. After a long sigh, I decided to pick her up carefully. Oh, so we do pick her up. I don't know what the power of this cat. Well, I don't know what the powers of this cat are, but if she brought me here, then maybe she can return me to my world. With her in my arms, I decided that the best thing I could do is continue walking. 2:31 a.m. Again, I found myself in the dark forest, walking aimlessly. Only moving forward, but it didn't seem I was getting somewhere. In my arms, I carried a cat which sleeps soundly. Come here. Here you'll be safe. I suddenly stopped. It was probably easy to see the belief on my face at that moment. It's that voice again, I whispered to myself, with no one to listen to me. Shortly after I found the cat, a mysterious voice appeared in my mind. It is a feminine voice, soft and gentle, as if it belonged to a princess from a fairy tale, but I couldn't trust it. Am I really going crazy? Or is this forest that doesn't make any sense? I don't know, but I don't like any of the two options. I feel the cat move in my arms. Oh, is it alive? I look down at her confused, just to see how she opens her red eyes slightly. Oh, she is alive. I become quiet at that instant. For a moment the two stayed motionless, staring into the eyes of the other. The red eyes of the cat are disturbing to me, but also there's something fascinating about them, something that attracts me. I lose myself in her eyes, as if hypnotized, until suddenly she jumps with the intention of scratching my face. My reflex is pushing her at the same time. I jump back, turning my head to dodge her claws. I manage to dodge her attack, but in the process, I drop my flashlight. I panicked and acted clumsily. The flashlight falls near me, lying up a tree in the vicinity. As soon as it left my hands, I remember how dense this abnormal darkness is. I quickly pick it up, but not thinking before taking action. I then landed the place where the cat was, only to discover that she had arched her back angrily as if she feared an attack from me. Those red eyes stare at me, shining with the light of the flashlight as if they were jewels, reflecting a fearsome hatred and rejection towards me. My body freezes after seeing them. I can't even think. The cat then lets out a thunderous meow, similar to the one before but weaker, although not any less frightening. And there's no doubt there was something wrong with that animal. It must be cursed. Everything is her fault. She must be some kind of evil spirit, a pet for the witches. I feel her panic seizes me. My heart beats quickly, begging me to do something. My mouth is dry, and my forehead covered with cold sweat. What should I do? Escape from the cat? I'm not going to abandon the cat. The cat's obviously petrified as we are. No, I should not despair. I have to calm down and think carefully about what I should do. With that in mind, I take a deep breath and look at her again. Soon the expression in my eyes changes from fear to courage. I realize he is only a cat, without a doubt of a strange one, but my life is not actually in danger. That isn't a tiger staring at me, but a simple cat. Apparently her only powers are those weird meows. If she could kill me, she would have done it already. So I rule out that possibility. Her work must be transporting the next victim to this area of the forest, so naturally and shady. After filling my lungs with air, I slowly walk towards the cat. Her meows get louder with every step, but I don't let them scare me. Seeing that, I do not turn back as she slowly takes a step back. In my mind, I smiled at that image. The prey is now the hunter. Oh, I didn't mean it like that. I don't hurt the cat. I just wanted to help her. Don't hurt the cat. I look at her directly while advancing. Little by little, her meows become weaker, as if she was losing strength. Then I suddenly jump and take her in my hands. She hardly resists at all. Oh, so tough now, right? You look better like this. She is trembling in my hands. She's just a scared little cat. She looks so helpless that I almost feel like a villain. But must not forget all that as she has done so far. It's her fault that I'm in this place. No, it's not. You walked in for courage. You said that at the start of the game. She brought me here, and if I kill her, would it be possible to go back? You better not. For a moment, a grim idea crossed my mind. I had never killed an animal. Truth is, I can't be proud of myself in doing such a thing. But if I do, maybe this legend could end here and now. Then, what should I do? Keep her captive, not killing the cat. Any logical the magic should die along with the cat. That should be my ticket back. If I kill her, everything would be overnight and the legend would come to an end. Confident that is for the best, I tried to view it in my mind. But no matter how hard I force myself to see it, in the end I am unable to take the life of another living being. Even if it is a cursed cat serving a witch, I don't feel good killing her. I think I'm too nice for my own good. So the only thing that remains is to keep her with me, hoping that sooner or later she will allow me to escape. With nothing more to think about, I decided the best thing to do is continue my path. 2:41 AM. Alright guys, I'm going to be ending this episode here. Clearly this is going to be a game where there's no set good time to actually end the episode. It's going to be ending it before it gets too long. Please, if you don't want to see more of this video, do let me know in the comments below. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye, take care, and thank you so much for watching.